Joining me in an exchange exclusive is Duolingo CEO Luis von Ahn. Welcome, Luis. Appreciate your time.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So tell me how AI you think is helping Duolingo more than potentially hurting it.
Well, I think for us, it's a major tailwind. It's helping us a lot. For example, the thing that it allows us to do is teach closer to a one-on-one human tutor. This is what we've always wanted to do with Duolingo from the beginning, was to teach as well as a one-on-one human tutor. And with the latest advances in AI, we can get closer to that.
Understood, but when I look again through what we are going to hear from Google this very hour, according to CNBC, they're planning to announce a general use large language model called Palm 2 that includes more than 100 languages. Is that going to circumvent the need for everybody to get, good at other languages with an app like yours?
Well, language translation has been very good for the major languages for the last 10 years, and that has not prevented people from learning a language. It turns out that most of our users are in two big categories. One of them is people who want to learn English and actually want to do it for a job or to move to a country like the US. I don't think those people can really rely on having some sort of headphone that helps them translate all the time. That's one big category. The other big category is people who are learning language as a hobby. Also, they're not going to be affected by something like that. And again, language translation have been very good between, for example, English and Spanish for the last 10 years. So we're not particularly worried about that.
Sal Khan actually very early on after ChatGPT came on and said he thought it would be great for business, great for education, kind of exactly what you're describing. So, roll the clock forward 6 months, 12 months. How will my Duolingo app experience be changing as a result of this?
It'll feel a lot closer to you doing role play. For example, you'll be put in a situation where you're told, hey, try to buy a croissant from this baker in Paris who also happens to be pissed off. And you just try to do that. And so I think we're going to be adding a lot more of that, and that helps you practice your conversation. And so we'll be able to teach a lot better. The other thing that we'll be able to do a lot more, which we're starting to do, we just launched the higher tier of our subscription called Duolingo Max, which one of the things it does is it explains your mistakes in a very easy to understand way. Historically, it has been hard to give you a good explanation of your mistakes because, we allow you to just enter whatever text you want. Sometimes the things that you enter are just so weird that we couldn't in the past really tell you what your mistake was. But now with generative AI, we can tell you exactly what your mistake is.
That also kind of brings me to my last question, which is how expensive is it? Is this your generative AI proprietary that you're using? Are you licensing it from somebody else?
We use a combination. So we use partly some of homebrew stuff, but we also use GPT-4. We were a launch partner with OpenAI. So this does cost money, and this is why we have it in a higher subscription tier. But over time, we expect these costs to go down, and it will try to figure out which tier. Will we be able to give it to everyone for free, or maybe it'll be the middle tier? It'll depend on the cost of in which tier we put all the features.
Let's remind people you also invented CAPTCHA, which might be one of the most wide. What's next for you?
Continuing to work on Duolingo. I mean, we're starting to teach things other than languages. For example, we launched an app to teach math called Duolingo Math. We're working on an app to teach music. So in general, we think we can teach most things that take a long time to learn with a phone in a very effective way. And we think that generative AI can help us with that quite a bit.
All right, I got to go, but we just got a piano yesterday, and I have a 3-year-old who is kind of shown an affinity for it. And he loves the iPad. Can I put your music app on the iPad and it'll teach him how to play the piano?
It's not yet out. We're working on the music app. That'll be out in a few months. But when that happens, you should do it. It'll be extremely fun, just like Duolingo.
Very interesting. Luis, thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Luis von Ahn is the co-founder and CEO of Duolingo.